Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Merry Christmas or Happy New Year, depending on whenever you're seeing this video. I actually haven't filmed in a while because I had Christmas and also I've gotten really ill over Christmas. I haven't been able to film anything, so you have not actually seen a video from me in a little while. And I'm still feeling a little bit ill, to be honest. I'm like sitting here sipping on my Barocca, like trying to power through this, but I really thought I would just try and get a little video up, and I was really excited to show you all of the books that I got for Christmas as well. So I thought we could do a little short, sweet video today about the books that I got for Christmas, and I just wanted to see what everyone else got for Christmas as well. So let me know in the comments below if you got books for Christmas or if you got book vouchers, then what you're planning on spending them on. And I'm gonna run through the books that I got for Christmas because I'm so pleased with this little stack that I've got right here. But please excuse like my voice and if I'm sneezing and coughing in this video because I'm just still getting over quite a horrific cold. So with all that said, let's just jump in and I'm going to tell you what I got for Christmas. So for actual Christmas under the tree, I got a few books, starting with, and all of these were on my Goodreads like want to read list. Like my family is very good at checking that, making sure these are books that I actually do really want to read. And so, but I don't know what books, because I've got so many on that list, like I don't know what books I'm actually going to end up with. And the books that I got, the first one is Crooked Plow. This one I've been meaning to read for so long because I've heard so many amazing things about this. This is actually a Brazilian book and it was on the International Booker Prize shortlist this year. And I remember seeing loads of people talking about it when it was shortlisted. And for loads of people, this was their number one favourite. This one actually did not end up winning, but I remember seeing a lot of people saying that it was absolutely robbed and this one was their favourite and it should have won. So like I said, this is a Brazilian book and I really enjoy Brazilian books that I've read in the past. And this is about two sisters and they find a knife underneath their grandmother's bed. And they live in one of the poorest regions of Brazil, and it's only a few short generations, I think, after the abolition of slavery. And basically when they find this knife, violence kind of erupts into their life and it changes their lives forever. I feel like this one's just going to be one of those powerhouse books. I feel like it's going to be really emotional. I hope I like the writing style. I feel like I will. And the description actually says this one has a mix between magical and social realism, which sounds very fun. It sounds right up my alley. Really, really excited about this one. And I also absolutely love this cover as well for Crooked Plow. The next book that I got, I have heard so much about this book. It's actually crazy and I'm actually kind of scared to read it because I've heard it's really, really, really sad as well. But it is In Memorium, yeah, by Alice Wynne. This is a historical fiction book and I believe it is also a romance, but one of those like really, really sad books. The way it looks as well, it just looks like a sad book. But I've just heard so much about this one and I just feel like I'm so curious, even though with historical fiction, I'm usually like, I'm a bit hit or miss with historical fiction, and with very, very sad books, I'm also really hit or miss. Sometimes I love them and sometimes they're just too much for me because I am a bit of a baby, and if it's really, really, really sad, I just can't actually handle it. This one is set in 1914, so First World War, and you're following two different characters. So I'm not sure if they're actually in the war or if they are too young. No, it says that they are too young to enlist in the war. So I think it starts off set in school with these two friends, but one of the friends is in love with the other one, and then one of the friends gets enlisted to the army, and I can imagine heartbreak ensues. If you've read this one, I would really, really like your opinion, especially maybe if you have a different opinion other than that you loved it, because I've just heard only that people absolutely love this one. So I'm excited, but I'm nervous, but I also do need encouraging. So also if you did love this book, then tell me as well, because I am scared to read really sad books, but I know that often like when I do get to them, I absolutely love them. So maybe that's going to be the case with this one. Next up, we have a non-fiction book, and this one has been recommended to me by my friend Tasmin from Tea Books in Tasmin. They read this book and absolutely loved it. I think it's one of their favourite books of all time. I think that's what they said to me. And so I've been meaning to read it for ages, and that book is Strong Female Character. So Strong Female Character is all about Fern Brady. It's a memoir, I do believe, and it's about her having a late diagnosis diagnosis with autism when she was 20 years old. I've heard so much about this book, and I've heard that it's really funny, it's really touching, it's written really well, and I love really, really, really good memoirs as well. So this is going to be one of them that I think I'll just absolutely adore. And already, like, from the summary of the book on the back, like, I think it's going to be a good one. It'll cover late diagnosis with autism, terrible Catholic childhood, homelessness, stripping, hating everybody at Edinburgh University, getting addicted to Xanax by trying to cure autism, and a couple of things that are redacted for being too spicy or too embarrassing. Very, very excited for this one. Cannot wait to read it. I think that's going to be an amazing book. Next up, a book that I got from my little sister for Christmas, and I'm really excited about this one because I've heard so much about this author. It's actually insane, and that is Abby Jimenez's Part of Your World. I'm really, really excited about this one. I'm not actually sure if this is the first book in her kind of mini, is it a series? I'm not actually sure. Let's double check. I think that this might be like the first in a little series. If not, I don't think you need to read them in the same order. But I will be obviously starting with this one. So this is Part of Your World. This is a romance book, and this has been recommended to me because I like Emily Henry books. So like romance with quite a lot of like emotional story going alongside, and like quite a focus on the characters, and kind of a good mix of like the romance with other stuff going on in the story. This book is about two people from very different worlds. We have Alexis, who is a kind of high-powered surgeon from like a very rich family, and then you have a younger man, 10 years younger than her, is Daniel, who's a ridiculously hot carpenter. He lives in a tight-knit community town. She's from the big city, and they can't possibly make it work, but I have a feeling that they probably will. I'm really excited to finally dive in and read Abby Jimenez's books, and I actually might do a whole video where I read a few of her different books and then do a little ranking, because I see people do that sometimes with Emily Henry books. I've already read all of Emily Henry's ones, so I can't really do that, but I could do that with Abby Jimenez because I've never read any of her books before. So let me know as well if you've read this one. I think it'll be really, really sweet. So that's nice to have like a romance to look forward to as well, because I often neglect romance, you know, to my detriment, because I do love reading romance books and then I always forget about them and then like read them all in a rush and I remember how much I love them. So there is that one. Next up, we have a book that I've been meaning to read. I've wanting to have for so long because I absolutely love how it looks as well, and I've heard amazing things, and that is Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. This is the first book in a sci-fi series, but is it sci-fi or is it kind of like a dark sci-fi? I think it is sci-fi. These books are some people's like absolute favourite series, and I've never read them before, and I think they've just got these, oh, it's the 10th anniversary edition, so that's why. I think they've had these like new paperback covers, and they are just stunning. Like, I don't know if you can see like the colours there. That is just so cool, but just from the vibe of the front, it's so my thing. Like this kind of, what is it, like a boar like being taken over by nature. I love that as a theme in stories, and especially in sci-fi. So all I know about this book is that basically there is, I think, four women are making an attempt to try and map out this area that has been blocked off from the rest of civilization for like decades, I think. And nature has reclaimed this area called Area X, and these people are going in. There is an anthropologist, a surveyor, a psychologist, and the biologist, who is the narrator of the story. And they are trying to figure out what happened to this area, how did it get cut off, like what are the mysteries that are going to be uncovered. And that's like all I know about it, is that there's just this mysterious area. But I feel like this is one of those books that is just going to be like, take me by surprise completely and be really like weird and twisty. Yeah, like it says, it's quite creepy on the front. So I don't know, like I think it might have some darkness to it. And this, like I said, is a series. I think it's a 4-book series. So I cannot wait to dive in. If you've read this series, then let me know what you thought. But this has a huge potential, I think, to be a new favourite for me, because it's just got everything that I'm interested in this kind of like blurb. It's got the nature, it's got the weirdness, it's got the sci-fi. So we'll see what I think of that one. Next up, we have a book that I don't know anything about, which is really exciting, because basically I always know everything about, or have at least heard of, all of the books that kind of come into my life. So this is really fun to know literally nothing about a book, other than that it's got a beautiful cover. And that book is Blackwater, The Flood. This is also, I believe, a series I've discovered afterwards, but just look at that cover. It is stunning. So it's a historical fiction, and I think it's also maybe magical realism, but it's based in this small town following this one quite like weird, menacing family. And the local river has flooded the town, kind of as you can see depicted on the front cover. And in the river nearby this town, there is a river monster. That is all I know about this book. I think kind of just following this family with its own dark secrets, and that there is a river monster. I think also this has actually been translated, because I was reading in the front. I actually can't remember where I read that now, but I do think that this is translated. I think it was originally in Spanish, but it's only been recently published in English in the UK. But I think originally it was like, came out in the 80s. So if you are Spanish and you've heard of this series, I don't think it'll be called The Flood. I don't know what the Spanish is for The Flood. If you've heard about this series and you have any thoughts, then please let me know, because like I said, I've never heard anyone talk about this, and that's really incredibly exciting for me, because it could be then that I am going to be the first one to be able to recommend it to all of my friends. Or I could hate it and warn everybody off. Either way, very fun, and that is the next book on this stack. Next up, we have a gorgeous stack of books. I always love getting like a box set of books for Christmas. Makes me so, so happy. And I'm absolutely thrilled to have this box set for Christmas, and it is a Game of Thrones. So I have actually read Game of Thrones before already, but I've never owned all the books myself. I think my mum owned them maybe, and I read them from hers, but like I've never owned them really. I've always just had like random ones floating around. But I've decided I really want to do a reread of this series as we're up to. Obviously the series is not completed, it ends at A Dance with Dragons, but it's been years since I've reread this, and I really, really want to, because I'm currently also rereading The Way of Kings. That's something I've started randomly in the month of December, and I'm just about to finish the first book in that series, and I'm absolutely loving rereading it. But I really want to now reread other epic fantasy stories, starting with the Game of Thrones series. It's been so long, and I remember absolutely loving this series so much, and I have reread, I think the first three I've reread a couple times. I want to do a full series reread, and I just didn't have any pretty copies of them and couldn't find them anywhere. So I asked for Christmas, please could someone find me some pretty copies of Game of Thrones, and they succeeded, because look at these copies. So these are the American mass market paperbacks, so they're a little bit smaller and skinnier than kind of the UK copies, but they're very comfortable to hold. Like you can kind of like hold them in one hand, and they've got kind of thin paper as well. So I love the covers. So this is the first one, A Game of Thrones. I also really like the vibe of these. Like I think that it actually is a lot more true to the books in a lot of ways. This is the second one, A Clash of Kings, because a lot of the books really focus on like the war aspect, but a lot of these stories are about the nature and kind of this like creeping threat. This one is the next one, A Storm of Swords. Beautiful. And then we have A Feast for Crows, gorgeous, and the final one, A Dance with Dragons. So I just really, really love these covers, and I cannot wait to reread them in this format as well. Right, what order does it go in? I think this first one is my favourite of the covers, potentially. I just really, really love that. I think it's so, so cool. Like the mountains with the wolf head. Love it. So that is another stack of books that I got for Christmas. I'm so incredibly grateful for. I absolutely love them. They look so cool. I don't know whether to keep them in the box or not in the box. For now I will, but we'll see what I do with that. I need to find space for these books, honestly. Like I need to do a massive clear out again in January. And I also really need to build my new shelves. That's another January job, because I need more space. But that's not something for now. Okay, the next book that I got for Christmas, well, this is technically being loaned to me by my mum. She just finished this book and insisted that I read it right then and there. And I said, I can't, mum. I'm reading Way of Kings. So she forced this into my hands, and that is I Capture the Castle. This has been on my list to read for ages, but something about the way that my mum was like, oh no, you need to read this right now. I think that she really wants to talk to me about it. And I have had this on my list to read for ages. I actually don't know much about what it's about. She also says ignore the cover, and that is nothing to do with the vibe of I Capture the Castle. She hates this cover entirely. So From the back, I am gathering this is a story about a young girl living with her family in a castle, and she's recording her own life. Her beautiful, vain sister and her stepmother, and then her dad, and then also maybe there's a love story as well that's coming into this book. I don't know anything about this book, although my mum told me that apparently Dodie Smith also wrote 101 Dalmatians, which is crazy, and I didn't know that. Has she lied to me? I feel like maybe I'm just now going to be spreading misinformation about that. So I've had this on my list to read for years, and I'm very excited to finally get to it from the encouragement from my mum. And then the final book that I want to talk about has been recommended to me also by my friend Alice. This author in general, they recommended to me, I believe so. Alice, I'm sorry if I'm getting this wrong, but I think that you recommended this book to me, and I've now bought it on your recommendation. So if that's wrong, then I'm sorry about that. But it is Muriel Sparks, The Ballad of Peckham Rye. And this one sounds really, really interesting. It's basically about this man who's kind of really charming and like a little bit evil, maybe, like a bit of a bad guy. And he just kind of like is trying to fix this company that's going under, but he's also just causing an absolute ruckus in this small community in which he lives. And this is when's this set, or when was it written? This is a classic. So written in 1960, and I'm not sure when it's set, but you know, at least the 60s. I've heard a lot about this author as well, and they've written many books, I believe. So I thought this is a fun place to start. Sounds very intriguing, and sorry Alice if you actually didn't recommend this book to me, but I think that you did. Either way, I'm going to read it, and it'll be really fun to see what it's like. So that is the stack of books that I got for Christmas. This little stack plus my box set that oh god, already I'm not going to pick up because I'm ill and I will definitely drop it. So I am very, very pleased and incredibly grateful for the wonderful people in my life who have got me all of these wonderful books and have refreshed my shelves for the new year with books that I really, really want to read. Let me know what you got for Christmas, or books or not books as well. I also got this necklace for Christmas. If you want to do a little mini other Christmas haul, it's like my favourite thing that I got, and it's absolutely stunningly beautiful. Hello, Miso. Miso's coming to say hello as well. And Miso, what did you get for Christmas? What did you get for Christmas? She got some catnip toys, and she got the ability to play with the baubles on the Christmas tree, didn't you? Because that's your favourite thing that you ever want to do. It's just play with the baubles. This is always what happens. Oh, okay, I'm coughing, I'm sneezing, I need to go back to bed. But thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Please remember to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already, and then go back and watch all of my other videos. And thank you so much. I will talk to you again soon. Bye!